listeners, welcome back to the MLOG Golf Podcast. You heard me do the introduction there. You know how long I used to sit down and record those introductions for? Whenever I do one beforehand, I would sit here for hours, take one, take two. I'm just going to hit record and just start talking. That seems to come out. Rocket, welcome back.
Hello.
How you going? The biscuit wars are reignited. It wouldn't be a podcast of late if we didn't crack it off with a biscuit. Rockets immediately said hello, one word, and then chowed down into a Ma Rockets shortbread. I did bring home Ma Rockets shortbreads, which she sent me for Christmas. Thank you, Ma Rocket. She is our number one ticket holder down there in Port Arthur, Tasmania. Ma Rocket is, of course, Rocket's mum, the lead baker of Scottish shortbread biscuits in Port Arthur, Tasmania. But thanks for the present, Mrs. MLOG of Golf, the real Scottish person in the whole podcast thing here, says thank you, Ma Rocket. Rocket, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good.
Are you excited about the move? I've had a few people ask me, is Rocket leaving? Is he, I said, no, don't worry, he's just going to Queensland. We've never actually, we actually have recorded one podcast face-to-face, the US Open edition, Pebble Beach, where we sat in front of the, I'm not going to call it a simulator, it was more like the NBC golf, channeled studios. So it's not going to stop you from participating. You've been a little bit under the pump the last few weeks, rightly so, in preparing for the move. You showed us the pictures of the removalists there. You're not driving up to Queensland, you're flying up, so everything's just been trucked up there, and you're off. You'll be a Queenslander, and you're sort of hibernating, so you don't have to, face the Omicron or anything, so you can get out of here. Sad, happy, how do you feel?
This is obviously mixed emotions. Handing over the keys to the place that feels like you've been there for 10 years. It's only been 5. But then, you're going to another. It's not moving to another suburb, going to another state, and then with everything going on, it's really hard. One, work, and then the move and packing up, and then everything else. It's been really hard to try and catch up with people, so that really sucks. But just all in all, we just really excited to get up there, and just new adventure for us as a whole family. The kids are pumped. So hopefully I'm going to be able to take most of January off. And so I don't know. It's just so much has gone into it for the last 12 months. It's it's good to finally be very close to the finish line.
You're one of a number of people that I've certainly come across that have made a move out of Victoria. No, I think there's other people that I know that have moved out of Sydney, and most of them have moved to some part of Queensland. What was it? Was it COVID that sort of brought the whole sort of mind? No, it was something that was.
No, it was. Look, it doesn't hurt. But the thing for us is that we've been caravanning up there for probably the last 5 years. So we're doing a couple of stints up there every year, and you just get to the point where it just becomes. You just start to really fall in love with the place and some of the things and some of the places you want to go and see. And, you start to look at Brisbane as a central base, and then you think about, some of the places that we want to go and see are only 2 and 3 hours away from Brisbane. And for us to go from here up to there, it's like a 30-hour drive. So you end up, and I do some crazy stints. So I can get to Brisbane in just under 3 days driving, but you can't do that all the time. And come winter time, I want to be able to, I've got a caravan. I like just chilling in the outdoors. There's a couple of places that are my favourites, which have some beachfront spots. So there'd be nothing better than a long weekend in the middle of the year, being able to just sort of pitch up the van and just throw a deck chair out and just sit outside and just do nothing. Look at the bush TV at night.
Under the flight path of JQ 571 inbound from Sydney, recording a podcast with our good selves.
That's gold. That was very funny.
Rocket, we've Yeah, the last couple of weeks that you haven't been here, we had a bit of a sort of wrap of various golf courses. Last week we caught up with Stuart Kerr. Thanks again to Stuart. Always great to catch up with my favourite Scottish golf person at the moment. He gave us a bit of a rundown of Adelaide golf courses. Any Queensland, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast courses that you've got your eye on, or that you know of, or that you wouldn't mind seeing, that you've heard of?
No, none in particular that are off the beaten track. There's a lot of the more popular ones that I want to sort of see and play, and there's some courses I've played a couple of times which I love playing. So Sanctuary Cove, the Pines, I really love that course. Had the pleasure of playing it twice. I'm trying to make more. I'm trying to get into RQ. So because that's only 12 minutes from where we live. So it'll be nice to actually be close to a golf course. I was thinking about the other day, except for when I was living down in Port Arthur. So my dad's house it's like a 1K walk. So I'd carry my bag or pull my buggy and walk to the course in the morning, and then walk home in the afternoon. And then since I left there, every other time I've been a member at a course, I'm at least 25 to 30 minutes minimum a drive away from it. And so being able to live actually really close to a course for the first time in nearly 25 years is going to be quite spectacular, actually.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get up there, and I hope you do join RQ. I wouldn't mind coming there for a little bit of a hit at RQ.
Well, our friends at OCM been selected to do a renovation. I think they must follow me around. I've played at Mount Lawley and Royal Canberra, and they seem to get contracts there. So, I think what's going to happen is Mike and Ashley, they might need to go, what courses do they want to restore or get contracts for, and just maybe get me a game at some of those courses.
Rocket, the course scout, well, you are the leading architecture buff of this trio, and your insights this year and in the previous years have been wonderful to your depth and breadth of knowledge on golf course architecture, especially in the States, and all the classic architects, the Rayners and the CB McDonalds and et cetera, has been very well received and very highly regarded amongst the listenership. Magic Mike, how are you?
Excellent. A little bit tired. It's coming to the end of a very busy period. Not as busy as Rocket, but no, it's been good.
Triple jab, triple threat, triple jab today.
Triple jabbed, yeah. So number 3 today. So feeling okay.
Feeling okay.
Feeling okay. I think I feel a bit tired, but it's Christmas week. If I'm not feeling tired, I'm not working hard enough.
Well, we had plans to maybe do this face to face, but of course, in the interest of each other's work safety and whatever, we didn't do that. We decided to sit down at some ungodly hour late at night when Rocket's on the bedtime syrup. I've just had a bit of chocolate cake. Mike, what have you been into?
Well, my Rocket sent me a delightful package of biscuits and vinegar and some jam. Yeah, one of those ones.
I actually haven't opened mine, Rocket. That was a biscuit. I'm assuming it's a kiss biscuit.
Correct.
I hope I've got some of those in there. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
Kiss biscuit with award-winning.
Yes.
Let me remind. Award-winning jam.
Well, I got a package. I'll just put it that way. And last night, when I wanted something sweet after dinner, I thought it'd be nice for me to bring out to my wife, one of the shortbreads and one of like the little, it's like a muesli slice type thing. So I put them down on the table and she said, "Are those for me?" I said, "Well, no, you pick which one you want." She's like, "Is there more?" And I'm like, "It's not important if there's more left." She's like,
they're already gone.
There's one of each. You pick which one you want and I will be eating the other one, which means you will get one out of that whole the whole tin. So it took me a week, my Rocket, but I polished them off comfortably.
And just another shout out to our sponsor, the only sponsor that we've got. If biscuits are remuneration, it is sponsored. We haven't got anything, not even a golf ball or a golf tee off any of the companies, but we have all been endowed with beautiful biscuits. So Mar Rockets biscuits. If when you want to go into business, we will be your marketing strategy team. Michael put it under his wing, and straight to Woolworths in the front aisle. Anyway. Let's talk about the golf. I had a game on Sunday, and I know everyone likes to know about my exploits with the golf. It wasn't with Herbie, wasn't with Minwoo Lee.
No. I was about to say, was it with the Pro-Am from Minwoo or something like that?
No. It was.
Was Jorge? Was he?
No, George. No, George. No show. No talk. No show. No, it wasn't with George either.
Was it Wade? No.
I'd love to catch up with Wade down at Royal Adelaide. Mike Ferroni is the last person I know who's caught up with Wade down at Royal Adelaide. Sent me a picture of them waving together. No, it was just with the Drummer Golf crew. They had their the head office had their Christmas golf breakup at Mornington, which is obviously just down the road. My spiritual golfing home, I guess you could say. Won the long drive. Long drive.
Anyone that's played with you is not impressed by that.
Well,
why do you think I shrugged my shoulders? Yeah. Tell me something I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you something I don't know. It was the club that I used to win the long drive.
Was it with the Persimmon?
No, well, not quite. It wasn't that old, but it was 30 years old. The Callaway Big Bertha 10 degree S2H2. I've rocked up with it on the first. We were the first group off, and they've gone, "What are you using a 3-wood on the first?" I said, "No, it's a driver." And they said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's the old thing." And I reminded my colleagues, I said, this is why we're here. This is why, Drum and Golf being successful. And, these were one of the clubs that gave us the foundations to be here today. And they said, yeah, you're probably right, Ross. So off you go. Get out of here. And, nearly drove.
Smoked it.
Yep. But on the 11th hole, won the long drive. So $25 voucher, went straight in. Mrs. Milov of golf was sitting next to me at the lunch. She said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that." And that was actually a $50 voucher. Just over there, the Big Bertha S2H2. I couldn't fault it. I could not fault it. And nor could I fault the little Hogan radials that I took out for a fun bash. Oh, geez. Anyway.
Now, was there a CTI machine nearby?
No. Why, is anything illegal there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe you handed back that $50 voucher.
They're not getting the $50 voucher back. So that was
there's a bit of a theme with Callaway. You got Xander, the driver doper, lefty, winning a major at 50. There's something in the water.
Must be the calves. You want to see them again? They've already had one outing this year. I can get them out again. No, I can't because I still got long pants on.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. Can't get the cuff over the calf.
I can't. It's bulging. So that was my golf. But I am looking forward to getting to Peninsula Kingswood this week to see the Sandbelt Classic, which we'll talk about. Mike, any golf for you? Where have you been?
Nowhere. No, not this week.
Huh?
We had a hit last weekend at Growling Frog, and then this week I've done very little. I've been down my local 9-holer at I think 2 nights at about 7 p.m. for a nice quiet night, dropping a couple of golf balls, practicing the chipping, and just being at one with nature. Took the old Seamus bag out. Carried. I always play odds or evens, so it was the driver, and it was evens this week. So it was 4, 6, 8 pitching wedge, putter. That was it.
Okay. Actually, I forgot to say, I did have a game of golf with someone of note, and also played half set golf. Had a hit with Scott Jamieson last Thursday or so at Spring Valley, which was very, very nice. Spring Valley always turned out beautifully, well turned out. So it's a lovely course. But Jamo had a bit of a pre-derby hit out down there. Took some photos of the great man in his Adidas gear, and half set was great. Anyway, now you've influenced the world needed another golf podcast because I think at last count there's 755 million 265,713 golf podcasts globally.
No, there's millions of them trying to be podcasts, and then there's us.
Like you've influenced, your golf coach has influenced you to make these wonderful changes that I saw you put into place there the other week when you got your fitting with me. You've influenced him obviously to start his own podcast.
That's it. Yeah. He just, I don't know. This young Baden's decided to start a podcast. First episode was out this week. Baden and Dave Luteris.
Dave Luteris, yep.
So yeah, first Skilless podcast out this week. So the boys are pretty happy. He had been telling me the last probably 2 or 3 lessons that he was going to be getting around to it, but hadn't got around to it yet.
Okay. Did you give him the audio tips? Get the microphone. Dave Luteris needs to get, probably needs to get a few audio tips, but it sounded pretty good. Yeah, that first episode. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think a bit like me and everyone else who's ever done this for the first time, Dave needs a different microphone, but look, I'm not here to help them. I'm here to help us. So.
Exactly right.
People need to go back and listen to our first couple of us.
Hey, my other non-sponsors, the Nissan Navara Ute mobile podcast studio and 4-wheel drive, that's put out some fantastic audio, and I'm not the only podcast in the world to use a car as a quiet space.
Or the caravan.
Or a caravan. And Rocket is currently situated in a wardrobe. And if you can hear the noise, it's echoing because when you move all your furniture out of a house and it's like echoey, that's the Rocket's currently no furniture in the house. There's nothing in there. So
no, I'm not in the old house. So I'm in the apartment.
Oh right, okay, that's okay.
So it's actually a little study room in the apartment. It is like a cupboard.
Right. That's why you can hear the gang behind you there. How many guys are outside of the cupboard?
5.
5. Okay. Okay. So, what are we talking about first? PNC, Sandbell Classic.
Let's go PNC.
Okay.
PNC. It's I think the Rocket was pretty excited by it. I think most people were excited by it. I think everyone was watching the Charlie Woods show, which was good, fun.
And Carl Stenson.
Oh, he was gold. He was as dry as dry. Young Heinrich's little boy. He's awesome.
The winners were John Daly, John and
John Jr.
John Jr.
John Jr. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay.
Good on him. You got your belts. Whatever.
Yeah.
No one was talking about you. You're absolutely irrelevant. It was Charlie.
Yep.
And it was Carl.
Yep. No, I agree. It was good watching. Like it was. I think we've talked about it a lot with Tiger and Charlie, and I think this time around everyone took it as it was meant to be taken. Like it's fun. It's probably the greatest golfer of all time, having the first hit of golf sort of professionally post nearly having his leg cut off with his little boy. It was astounding to watch. It was great to watch, but it was a bit more fun. It was no more to it than that. It was no pressure on anyone to do anything. Like I woke up this morning, they battled along yesterday. They went okay. They weren't shooting the lights out. When I got up this morning and saw the scores, I nearly fell over at what they shot. I think they had
11 birdies in a row.
Ridiculous.
They started off birdie, eagle, a couple of pars, and then rattled off 11.
Yeah.
And there was a couple holes where Charlie was birding off his own ball.
Yeah. And look, they talk about it like, Charlie's off the forward tee. He's 70 yards. 70 yards is what, 60 something meters.
He's 11. He's 11.
He comfortably would beat me off the stick.
He's 11.
Not even joking.
And like someone took a really good shot of his impact, his position at impact.
Yeah.
And he's a flusher. He's 11 and he's an absolute flusher.
I just love watching his mannerisms. His mannerisms next to Tiger are just the best. Like it's the same as anyone else.
Did you see the video? It's just.
And
it's
I'm
so
sure
good.
I know that sometimes I'll sit in a chair with my arm in a funny direction, and I know that my dad does that, and I think it's funny. But when you watch Tiger Woods and the whole world knows his mannerisms, his club twirls, the way he's leaning on that picture behind Rocket, we've all seen it a million times, so we know it, right? So when you see his son do it, it's funny. It's just nice. It's really good. It was very wholesome.
I loved it.
I watched the where he did the money gesture. There's always these things on the internet that you just have to play and play and play. Yeah, I just kept looking at it and watching him and just looking for any little nuance that's no, that's not quite the same.
Yeah.
But you couldn't look away. Like he just looked at it, and the way he did it, like
he's doing it to JT because there's probably a side bet somewhere, and he's like, and like I've heard JT when he talks about Charlie, he said he's just like he's like his dad. He's just the ultimate sledger, and wants to have a bet on anything.
Yep.
And backs himself. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. No, it's it was really good. And the other one that I really liked out of it was Jessica Corder going to get the autograph from Tiger and the photo, just feeling like we all would if we saw Tiger in the flesh and just going up and just feeling like a little kid. That's just great. So it's great to see. As close to as behind the scenes of PGA Tour as we get, seeing that sort of stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
It's funny how much, not funny, not surprising how much engagement that it gets. And, we've talked about what they can do differently. And we're not saying that all the players should wheel their siblings out or their kids out every week, but, they have the ability there to be a little bit more human, a little bit more, relatable. And funnily enough, everyone loves it. Yeah, and there's part of the formula right there that's missing.
It's the Wood show again. It's of course it's Tiger and Charlie carrying the load, and it's just.
Well, what's amazing though is not only are they carrying the load, and I know he's had it his whole life from birth, but Charlie's ability to just block things out and not be thrown and not be like we talked about it before we started recording. He's a stone cold killer.
He's a killer. No, he's a killer. He's already a killer.
I showed that putt that he made to my wife, and my wife was like, he's got no emotion. I'm like, he's a killer.
Did you see the one that I tagged you where he was practice putting and Tiger threw the ball at him and he didn't flinch?
No.
As soon as I saw that, I've gone, oh, this kid is this almost like brought me back to Twitter just seeing it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm going to make the call now. In 10 years, Charlie Woods is going to be taking the souls of PGA Tour players. He is going to rip their hearts out and take their souls like Tiger did.
Yeah. I think a few people this week on Twitter, one I can't remember who it was a US commentator, had said everyone just needs to relax. He's averaging 82 in Florida under 12s, blah, 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 this and that. And someone else came over the top and said, look, those numbers aren't quite right. He's actually a lot higher ranked than that. But at the end of the day, he's 12. Why are we even ranking 12-year-olds? It's not relevant.
Right.
I mean, he's got so much time up his sleeve to do whatever he wants to do. And if he does this and he's great at it, fantastic. But,
well, I don't think... Yeah, well, the thing is that he probably hasn't taken up the game like Tiger did. Because Tiger was like almost like a baby.
2 or 3, yeah.
And Charlie, I think he's only really been playing for the last 4 years. And I reckon it was around the... And I've seen Tiger talking about it where he's like, oh, I'm not going to pressure... It's like, if he wants this, I'm here and I'll help. Yep. But I'm not going to push him or pressurize him. And you can see it. Like he's 11. There's all this information. He's probably watched every video. He's probably heard all these stories and stuff like that. And he's like, and who knows what's going in behind closed doors, but you can tell the kid wants it. Yeah. He's acting like his dad on a golf course.
Yep. No, and I think the two, as much as I agree with you 100% with that, when he threw that ball out, getting that mental piece right, that was just Earl Woods down to the ground. But the two things that I'd measure against each other that shows a little bit of difference in Tiger versus his dad is when I remember hearing a story about Tiger playing and he flushed his drive down the fairway and it just rolled into the first cut and it was miles down and he's way past his playing competitors and Earl was on the ropes. Now someone will tell me this story was wrong, but this is what was said, that basically Tiger was proud at how far he'd hit it, and Earl had said something like, yeah, but it's just another missed fairway. Like, you're not in the fairway, you're like in the first cut. Measure that against Tiger this week. Charlie hit this shot into the green, and it was a good shot. It came up, half a club short, left in the bunker, and he was almost angry. And Tiger said, "No, it's fine. Like that, where you are is good. Good leave. Great spot in the bunker there. Plenty of room to play with." Like he didn't take that, not the negative side, but he took that. It was going to be always about the positivity. And I think that's going to be coming up. I think Tiger knows what it takes.
The bad stuff.
Correct.
He's already probably unpacked himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know what I don't want to do.
Yeah. He knows the good and the bad.
Yeah. So, and that's why I reckon Charlie's going to be a completely different little beast that Tiger's going to create.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised.
So good. And hopefully Carl Stenson makes it on tour.
Well, they were talking to him today about playing with Ian Poulter's little boy, and they play a couple of times a week.
When I get a chance, some time off.
And Henrik's like, yeah, when from your busy day job, when you find time to play golf, like 8-year-old kid. It was very good.
My favourite is still the first. I think it was the first or second. No, the question that Peter Jacobson asked him. When he said, "What do you think of your chances this week?" And he's like, turns around to his dad. He goes, "Not good the way he's playing."
Yeah. He set him up very well. He's very dry, just like his dad.
Yeah, so
How old is he? 8 years old.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
I think this year he became the youngest ever to play before it was Charlie.
I know how funny was that quote. Did you realise that you're the youngest player in the PNC? And he goes, "Yeah, my dad was telling me in the car right here."
Yeah. He just doesn't get how perfectly dry his answers were. They were perfect.
So good.
So, when we reflect on some of the goings on of 2021, what were your favourite moments, gentlemen? What stands out as moments of significant golf-wise for you?
The one that stands out from me, and probably from my pocket as much as anything else, was how nails Colin was in the last 2 rounds of the Open. For me, that was the difference between a guy who we knew was an exceptional golfer, making that tiny little better of himself on the putting, that just showed, how not many people win 2 majors, let alone 2 in whatever it was, 18 months. That was a really big, solid moment, I think, for me.
I'm distracted because I can see Rocket getting into a state of undress. I'm not sure he's just taking the hoodie off. He's not getting.
It's a bit warm. It's a bit warm in the hot box here.
Warm in the cupboard.
Not a lot of ventilation in the cupboard.
You're exactly right, Mike. If Colin Morikawa was going to, prove to us all just how good we think and knew that he was, he had to do that in the Open. It could have been probably pretty easy for him to go to the Open and go to a links course, and a very high quality links course, and not perform where he could, but he did, and he did it unbelievably well.
Well, especially off the back of how he played in the Scottish the week before, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, how he played there set the foundation for the week after, because he changed all of his wedges to make sure that, he could hit his shots how he should have been, and it was like that, we'll call it that learning experience helped him shape things really, really quickly.
And you just reminded us that he not only changed his wedges, but changed some of his irons to get a little bit more of effective bounce, just to work on the links turf a bit better. Yeah. No, that was a pretty significant moment. What about you, Rock? What stands out in your memory banks of this year as quality moments?
I think for all the majors, it's really hard to pick one, because 2 of my favourites performed really well on the big stage. We've got my man Cole, then my mate Lefty, but I still think a little bit more about this, and this is going to be one of those, and I talked about it posted at the time is that the flow-on effect of this one for the nation is going to be massive, and that's still Hideki at the Masters. Like the whole walk off 18, I know it gets sort of done to death in terms of his emotion and things like that, but I still watch it and I think about, a lot of people I think forget that when you're like the chosen one from a nation that is golf crazy, and it's not like you've got 10 other guys that are also equal stature to sort of, spread the load, and it's all on you. Like, that's a lot to shoulder, especially when he's been the chosen one since he was an amateur. So, that's what he's probably had to shoulder for the last 12 plus years in Japan is equal to probably what Tiger's been faced with sort of globally in terms of, the spotlight and the scrutiny and stuff like that. Who has 20 journalists following them playing the US Masters or the Masters when they're an amateur?
Yeah.
Like, so and everyone's talked about, thinking that, he's such a talented player. Again, another person who's really good ball striker, a little bit shaky with the putter, and thinking that, is he ever going to break through? And, that Saturday stretch when everything was, everyone else was sort of going backwards, sideways and stuff like that. He just, I don't know, something clicked and he ends up winning. It was awesome. For me, that was probably the highlight because of just, you think the weight of the world is on that man's shoulders.
Yep. No, he caught lightning. And look, I wouldn't, if you give me 1,000 more picks, it's 110 people in the field or 90 people in the field. If you'd given me 70 picks, he probably wouldn't have been there. He just, for him to do that was amazing. And like you said, everywhere he goes, if there's 100 press credentials given out for the Masters, 60 of them are probably following him. It's bananas. It's a lot of pressure.
Well, they were significant moments, absolutely. My moments are probably a little less significant. But to give some of the women a bit of a rap, young Steph Kiriyaku, for me, seeing her sort of rise up in the Open at Carnoustie and, perform really well and then kick on and, get her shot at the LPGA, both through the qualifying there. So she's got an LPGA tour card next year, which she's really happy about. But just, seeing the way that she carries herself and moves around the golf course, she's always got a smile on her face, very, very polite, very bubbly, just having a lot of fun. That sort of sticks out to me. And another couple of obvious ones, watching, seeing Min Woo get his first Rolex event, first European Tour victory at the Scottish Open at Renaissance Club. I love the Renaissance Club. I've been lucky enough to play there with Malcolm Duck and, played there with the owner of the place. And it's a special, special place, special part of the world for me. So to see an Aussie salute there is always great. And being that it was Min Woo was fantastic. Watching him rise up and I'm pretty sure that he will finish 50th in the world. Is that right? He's in. So, what a milestone achievement for the young man. And then just also, Herbie, seeing him salute at the Irish Open the week before and then, get his PGA Tour card and then go on and have a win. I get a little bit of behind the scenes in that world. I've spoken to Herbie a couple of times this year on the Mental Mastery Golf podcast and, just good to see these two Aussies doing really well. I don't know Min Woo. Played golf with him once, but I don't know him. But I wish him all the best. I know Herbie a little bit better. Played golf with him a year ago. He's down here on holidays. He's staying at Bendigo, but he's playing in the Sandbell Classic. He's given up his time there. He reached out to Clayton and Jeff to say, if I'm there, I'm in. And, I hope he does well next year. So there's sort of moments that stick out for me. There's dozens and dozens of other moments as well, but you guys have picked off the big ones, but they're just little moments that, we've talked about a lot, and I remember. Yeah,
Definitely.
The only other one that's really big is the banning of the green reading books for 2022. That was awesome. Or as Bryson calls them, the eye calibration devices.
Is that what he calls them?
I think he does.
Favorite Bryson moment, Rocket, this year?
Too many.
Too many?
Far too many.
There's so many. Another podcast was talking about a couple the other day, and one of them came up and I'd forgotten all about it. It was when the driver just wasn't working at the Open, and the driver's just no good. It's just like, just a weird guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was like the Masters. Oh, actually, was it last year's one where he had the upset tummy?
Upset tummy. He had the drive over the lake. Was it Bay Hill?
Bay Hill. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot. He had everything with Brooks. He's had there's showered with Bryson moments this year.
Yeah, far too many. Far too many.
There was a million. There was about a million too many.
Yeah, cast a very wide net.
Yeah. Of course, we had discussions around the Premier Golf League and all of the Saudi chat. That sort of caught our attention for a good bit, and that still is unfolding as we speak. What else? European Tour has now become the DP World Tour. Top Scott. Any if we've got to give some awards out, who gets the top Scott award?
I can't think of anything funny to say. I don't really know.
Renton Laidlaw.
There you go.
Who?
Renton Laidlaw.
Vale Renton Laidlaw. What a great man.
I was going to say, who's the top Aussie?
We lost Renton this year. My dad's still looking for the letter that Renton wrote to him after he visited him at Tyrrell's Vineyards, but he's still searching for it. Funnily enough, in that search for the letter that Renton wrote to my dad after my dad plied him full of Hunter Valley wine, my dad found a whole heap of other things, and being some pictures of my trip to the States in '87, but also a couple of pictures of me accepting some trophies at the Jack Newton Sub-Junior Classic. Which was great for me to see those because, Jack's in the background, and, we had the pleasure and privilege of knowing Jack pretty well, being, Cessnock people, but once again, probably on the back of, his liking for quality Hunter Red, and my dad being the purveyor of quality Hunter Reds. Dad got to know him pretty well, and, as we did in Cessnock, and, I got the privilege of caddying for Jack, when he was playing with one arm. I still remember when Jack had his accident and Dad hearing it on the news. It's probably one of only 2 times I've ever heard my dad swear. And, the reason why I'm talking about Jack Newton, because this week the Jack is on. It's their foundation tournament's back on after obviously not being on last week. It's at the Crown Plaza, which is up in the Hunter, up at Cessnock, my hometown. My dad's actually doing the starting with Johnny Linnetson, who was, probably the founding father of junior golf in Australia. And I just wanted to say shout out to Clint Newton and Christy Newton and Ben Dixon, who are up there, and Jackie Newton, who are up there running that with all the celebs and the guys that go up there and support them. And it's a really big event. But the Newton family have been wonderful ambassadors for golf in Australia. Jack's it's well known that he's suffering from dementia. He probably won't. I'm not sure if he'll go or not, but It's sad to hear that, but Jack is a big figure in junior golf and in my life, and to know that the Jack's back on, it's at home, my home this week. Good luck to all those guys, and Christy and Clinton, all the best to you guys for a successful tournament. But when my dad was looking for Renton Laidlaw's letter, he found some pictures which he brought down, and that's what reminded me of that. Yeah, there you go.
Giddy up.
So, anyone else? What about who's the player of the year? Who takes that crown for the Mile of Golf Player of the Year?
I think Rocket and I have got different opinions here. I'm going to say John Rahm. I was very surprised. Well, I won't say very surprised, but he didn't win it from the PGA Tour. I thought he was a shoo-in. But
come on,
Paddy Cantlay won. But he was for mine. He was the best player on planet Earth this year.
Rocket?
Yeah, Mr. Ram, hard to from a consistency standpoint. But if I go, I don't know. So Cole, you think he's WGC Open Championship, race to Dubai, and almost made it to number one in the world, except for a little,
one bad round.
So just he wasn't probably as consistent across the board, but in terms of just when the whips are cracking on the big stage, Cole's kind of front and center. So I think just that sort of separated him for Player of the Year, and maybe I've put a little bit of bias salt in there as well. John, be hard to. Both worthy winners.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're adding on post the PGA Tour season, adding in a race to Dubai, it's hard to argue against Cole for sure.
Well, those guys are both season PGA Tour players now. Maybe not Colin. He's only been 3 years? 3 years on tour. 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
2 and a bit.
But probably the young man that you're going to mention now is Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Can he get to Colin Morikawa sort of winning levels in the next couple of years? No or yes?
No.
Who are we talking about?
As in Willie Z.
Yeah.
No?
His putting's another level of bad.
Yeah.
He did have one of the monumental yips of the year. Yeah, you're correct. Is he Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. His stretch from US Open through to almost like the US Open again, that little 12-month stretch. You think about it, he's like top 25 in the world, and he still didn't have his PGA Tour card.
Yeah.
Like he played his way on.
Yeah.
Like it's just a no-brainer. No-brainer. And he should have been playing in the Korea Cup, except for their stupid bullshit rules.
Yeah. No, it's he's easily Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Who wins the PIP for you? Yeah, if you were handing out the 40 million.
I'd give it all to Tiger, but I don't think I'm allowed to do that.
Outside of Tiger.
Outside of Tiger, the way that and I'm purely being completely unbiased and going with what I understand the metrics to be, I would say that my number one would probably be Bryson. Because, I mean, we're talking around the things that they're looking at are searches on Google and times in headlines and how many times is a player's name searched. And, I mean, people that don't know golf would have heard the name by now, Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, okay, but so I figured about if you were measuring it and you were sitting down with all the metrics, but think about how it impacted you. Would that still be the same answer?
Mate, great question. I think for me, looking at it that way, for me, I think that's where it becomes tricky, because impacting someone like me versus impacting the people they want to impact, being the people they want more people involved in golf, makes it really tricky. If I said the one player that impacted me throughout the year the most, I'd probably say Colin Morikawa as a person that I looked at and was astounded by some of the things that he did and some of the improvements that he made and some of the ways that he played. Did I Google search him at any point? No, I probably didn't Google search many players, except for when I'm searching for some random golfer to figure out who they are when I'm trying to figure out having a bet on some random tournament in Thailand. But no, it's a bit of a tricky one. I think it's that balance between the general populace and the people that love their golf, but different players that impact both.
What about you, Rocket?
It should be my hiatus from social media. That should be me. That and the biscuit wars.
Who says it can't be you?
Right, those are the biscuit walls.
Look, it did get some attention, your hiatus. Yeah, people were asking us, when is Rocket still on the social media wagon? You have come back recently.
I fall off every now and then.
That's
But
it.
you're not back as InfoSec Rocket anymore, are you? You're just Rodney Herring?
On Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I've been InfoSec Rocket on Twitter.
Okay.
Don't think so. That was mainly Instagram.
So you're back on Twitter? Back on Twitter?
Yeah, at the moment, I've been able to kind of control myself to a certain extent, stayed away from that little trending search button. That's the rabbit hole of death.
You go on the trending search button, and then you go to the one that you don't want to read and say block, or I am not interested in this, and it starts getting rid of it. Makes life a lot easier.
No, I've just got to not even look at it because there's going to be something in there that's going to suck me in.
Trigger.
You guys have got to teach me about the Twitter because I need to. As I mentioned before, I won't say which accounts. I think it'll be pretty obvious, but I've gained access to a couple of fairly significant golf accounts, which I've got to manage, and Twitter is one of the handles that I've got to take control of. I better learn how to what the trending search button is, so I can get a handle on it.
That's it.
I don't want to repost something on the wrong thing. Anyway, that's another story. Okay.
Use golf facts.
Yeah.
You guys feed with you golf facts. You never know why they might pop up. Okay, so we've got the Sandbelt Classic on this week. It's already been pretty highly regarded in some of the reporting, through some of the magazines that are there, saying it was a pleasure and a privilege to be able to see the first round played today at an iconic golf course in a tournament that should and would and will gain momentum in the eyeballs and the hearts and minds of the golfing public, both in Australia and overseas. Great concept.
Great concept.
Yeah.
Someone could go today though. I think it was no one was allowed to come in and watch, just with the renos they're doing, I believe. Parking and things.
I heard that. No, that was fact. But I heard from one of the Kingston Heath members that they were a bit curious as to why, because they couldn't really put a finger on why no one was able to go, in terms of the reasons given. But anyway, and I think Royal Melbourne, you can't go and park there, so you have to make your own way in there because they're building 65 level subterranean car park or something like that.
Yeah, so you can walk in on there and
really?
PK.
Where are they building a car park?
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I do think they are building a new car park, like a subterranean one. I could be wrong. Matt Mollick will let us know if it is an underground car park or not. But they're building a new car park, so there's a bit of upheaval there. But
and Yarra, can people go and watch it? Yarra?
Believe so.
And then PK, yes.
Full access at PK. I'll come and park your car for you if you can't get a park.
Really?
Not really.
I might come down. I'll just park right at the front door and say Ross is looking after it and walk away.
Take my keys. Well, if the pennant final was anything to go for, when they had the Division 1, Division 2, 3 and 4 or whatever pennant final down there was a lot of people watching, and a lot of car parks were taken up. So there's plenty of place to park, but there's a little bit of a walk up the driveway. But anyone can go. I think the tee off time at Peninsula Kings was about 11 o'clock. So yeah, I'll see you there. I'll be taking photos.
Playing north?
No, south.
Okay.
Yep, south in full length tawny condition. So we might see a couple of those hidden tees. On third, fourth, first, second, third, maybe fourth. And the fourth, there's a long tee there, and then the other par four, the sixth. Oh, yeah. There's that tee that's way in the back in the bush. It's only about the size of a 20-cent piece, but another 50 back. So I'm sure that
I've hit from that one into the wind.
Make the fairway.
Oof. That made the hole very long.
Yeah, well, certainly we'll put a new perspective on it. That would. But I think
even 9. Get 9 back up by by the greenkeeper shed.
Nine.
Par three.
Oh, I played from there when we played with Herbie. We were over the cart path for the greenkeeper shed. Yeah, it was like a full five wood to that slopey green. Yeah, no. So it'll be interesting to see the guys play Peninsula Kingswood for me. Obviously, being a member there. But
to what 12:30 tomorrow they tee off at Royal Melbourne.
So who's leading after day one?
After day one, the leaderboard is
Blake,
yeah, on his 25th
birthday.
5th or 6th, yeah. Six birdies, no bogeys. Blake Collier, Brady White, 5 under second, and then 2 tied for third. David Branston and Jediah Morgan, 2 under. So not many under par. There's a few that are over. Jeff Ogilvy, 2 over. Suo, 2 over. Matthew Griffin, 2 over. Probably the one that most people would expect to have gone super low with Herbie. Herbie is 5 over. Todd Sinnott, 6 over. Richard Green, 5 over. So
Dave Branston. He was a junior when I was a junior, so I don't know how old Dave is. He's probably mid 40s, mid to late 40s now. He'd have to be thereabouts.
No, he'd be 40s. He'd be 48.
Yeah.
Had a rock solid day. He was 2 under on the front, birdied 7 and 8. Then he eagled 12, and then had a bogey on 15 and 18 to shoot 2 under. It's a good day.
The boy could play.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Like, he was an absolute jet as a junior.
He was low amateur at the Australian Open in 92 at the Lakes, I think. The one that Elk won. Because the one thing that Branson could do is blow bullets, like piercing bullets through the wind.
Yeah.
Well, he came from that Persimmon era,
Yeah.
he learned how to hit the Persimmon driver with the bladder, with those little low rising fizzes, which he could do that like the Queenslanders could. Not too many I saw that could do that, but he was one of them. Yeah, it's good to see him up there. Good to see anyone that's approaching my vintage up there doing well. Good on him.
He denied Herbie a pro win when Herbie was a 16-year-old amateur.
At the Heritage.
The Heritage Classic, yes. 3-hole playoff.
Oh well, probably taught Herbie a few things. Who'll win that? Got a tip? You got a tip? Got a tip?
If I was looking pre-tournament, which I didn't, I had a look around. There was no odds up, no market up, which is not surprising. Jordan Zunic went pretty well at Gippsland Super Sixes last week. He's 1 under. Looking at where they are now, I'd say he's right in the mix. But if the honest answer is, if I'd framed up a market before they'd started, I think Herbie would have been the very short favourite, and I think a lot of people would have lost their money because I think even in he's currently 11 shots off the leader. It's a long way after 1 round. But effectively, yeah, if I was having a look at it now, I'd be going with Jordan Zunic at 1 under. He's 5 back.
Okay. Did he win the Super Sixes? No, who won?
No, he didn't. It was, test my memory now. He was a young bloke. He was from the academy. I cannot remember his name.
Okay. Speaking of tips, the tipster,
Yes.
the 2022 tipster, My Love of Golf tipster competition.
Yes,
It's a thing, right?
it is.
When is it a thing? When's it happening?
It's a thing as of now. So we'll put the link out on socials. People can join up. It's in Teepster. So teepster.com, TEEPSTER.com. A lot of people that like golf have probably seen it before. If you log in there, set up an account if you don't already have one, and then go to search to add into a competition. And if you do a search for a league and join a public league, you'll see the My Love of Golf listed there. So jump on board. It's going to start I think we're starting in the Sony. So we'll start off around the Sony for round 1. We'll play through till the Tour Championship. And basically the way it works is it's a one and done, which means if you got half a brain and put some effort into it, you'll probably beat everyone comfortably, which I won't be doing. And that is you have anyone each week that you want to pick, but you only get them once. and whatever they earn that week goes into your leaderboard number. So if you like Colin Morikawa to win at the Sony, that's great. But if he doesn't win or he misses the cut, then you get $0. You've used him up and that's it. You don't get to use him again. Some of the tournaments have a rule that if he finishes top 5, you get to use him again, but we're going to be brutal. We're not going to allow that. So people that want to do well should have a think about it. And my only advice that I'll give you is think about which big players you want to use and think about the prize money in some of the tournaments, because picking the winner at the Sony Open is great, but picking the winner at the Players' Championship is a whole lot better because there's a lot more money involved. And I think we should work out some prizes. So I'll happily donate some cheese and get some cheese sent around. And if you're somewhere that I can't send cheese to, I'll figure something else out.
So on the winning front, there's just one winner for the year, correct?
So we'll do one winner for the year, but we'll do little prizes throughout. So we'll have, say, a winner for, I'll figure out some sort of split. So we'll do a first half, second half. We'll do someone who's done the best over the 4 majors and things like that.
A bit of a West Coast swing, Florida swing.
Yep. So we'll break all that up.
Who gives a Fat Rat swing?
Yep.
Okay. So you organise the cheese prizes, Mike. I will organise the golf prizes. We'll have a number of prizes, but let's put a stake in the ground and put a figure on the overall prize. The number one, the numero uno MLOG Teepster challenge for the year. Mm-hmm. This time next year, when we're awarding the awards, and the big award will be the Teepster 20 champion. Yep. What are they playing for? What's a Tell me, what's worth getting out of bed for to play the Teepster tournament with the MLOGers? What's going to get the people hot and frothy?
I don't know.
Pick a number, and I'll tell you if it's wrong.
Guess the appearance.
5.
Oh, no, that's that. You don't have to pay too much or a bit. You don't have to.
Hey, there's a lot of value coming onto this podcast, so do not undersell it.
No, fair enough. Pick a number.
A number.
Yeah, like a voucher, Drummer Golf voucher, a Drummer Golf voucher. The winner gets a Drummer Golf voucher. How much is going to float the people's boats to want to sign on?
I'm not gonna make a promise on your behalf.
You don't have to. I'm going to say if it's good or no good. You're the tipping expert, so give us the figure.
I think if I was, I don't know.
Quarter of a minwoo, half a minwoo.
We've never disclosed what a minwoo is.
That's probably good.
Because you don't know, you still don't know how much your clubs are.
No, that's true. I don't know. What you're the boss. You tell us.
No, I'm delegating. I'm delegating.
250.
$250 be awesome. People can buy great things with that.
Okay, if that's what's going to float people's boat, $250 it is. So that's what we're playing for. The overall winner of the My Love of Golf tournament of tipping will get a $250 voucher.
Done. Can we do, just because you're giving out money and it's not my money, can we do, say, another 100 for someone who has the best results over the majors?
Why not? Yeah.
Okay, good. I like it. All right. We'll figure out some cheese in there as well.
So we've got 100, 250. I'll get some balls and we'll get some other stuff and we'll make a thing of it.
Yep. Love it.
Okay. And a trip to Queensland for the stay in the New Age caravan by the beach.
And around at RQ
with some warm Forex or something like that.
Another non-sponsor, the New Age caravan, to a tour of South East Queensland, brought to you by Rocket and New Age.
I'm sick of shilling for everyone. They don't pony up.
Well, and you haven't seen what I've got for you, Rocket. There you go. Oh, that'll be a surprise. Okay.
Jack Thompson won the Gippsland Super 6.
Oh, yeah, he's a good golfer.
Oh, how good is he in Man from Snow River?
I was going to say he's a great
actor. What a way to finish the podcast. An hour of. We made a great announcement. So we're paying for $250. How does that divide 3 ways? Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Why would you divide it 3 ways?
We might need a sponsor. No, Drum and Golf will be helping out with the vouchers. Don't worry, and one of the wonderful suppliers of Drum and Golf will be helping with the balls and anything else that we can get our hands on to give away. And promote the good work that we do here at the MLOG Golf Podcast, which another year draws to a close on maybe. If this is a pre-Christmas show, there might be a pre-New Year show. Who knows? Might just be me. I might have a rant. Don't know. But anyway, it's been great. Guys, have a great Christmas.
And to you, mate. And
You too.
Rocket.
We'll look forward to seeing everyone, spending their vouchers wisely post-Christmas, picking up some Rockets, Hot Dots and Pro Vs. Rocket.
Some big flying ladies.
Pink Flying Ladies. I played with the Pink Flying Lady once.
Or the old yellow pinnacles.
Yellow Pinnacle. I played with them all. I even go back to, there's a new golf ball, the Strixon Divide. But the original Strixon Divide was what, Rocket? You remember? You know what the Divide is? It's the Strixon have now got a ball that's got two colours. One half is...
Those. Yep.
Yeah. Great ball. Very good for if you want to train your eyes for putting and get the ball rolling straight. But who did the original two-colour ball, Rocket? Remember those? You're probably not that old.
I used to tape up a tennis ball when I played cricket as a kid.
Oh,
Ping did those multicolored balls.
yes, they
had the
did,
ping.
they did too. They had the pink and the white. They had the white and the blue.
Everyone thinks that the Strixon Divide was the first dual color ball, but no, the pink ball.
I remember those.
It was not
when you find one of those in the bush, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a very good ball.
No, it wasn't. But when you find them as a kid, it's great.
It was probably a great ball, being everything ping was, but it was ahead of its time. But compared to the Hot Dots and Rockets that we were given out at Cessnock Sub Juniors, mate, they were the things to have. It's been a great year. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great Christmas, as we discussed. Rocket, when you head off to Queensland, give us a wave as you leave this state, and know that we will see you up there for a game of golf. In our travels, we'll bring the podcast on the road with Mike. Mike doesn't need an excuse to get on a plane and travel for golf, so he'll drag us along. And
I'm looking forward to the return for the Southerly Buster for 2022. So I know Matty's said he's going to have to give me a little bit more heads up than probably normal, because Luke and I have to come and defend. We have to come and defend.
Rocket, if Chris Day can come for a weekend of golf from the US of A for 12 holes for the Southerly Buster, you can come down from Brisbane on a heartbeat, all right?
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, good.
I'm coming to defend.
Yeah, but not to
defend. I've got my tour editions. I've got my tour editions ready.
Very good.
I've got my Burner Plus.
Enjoy King Island. When are you going?
Assuming I can get a negative test back 72 hours prior, it'll be the 29th flying out.
What do you mean assuming you can get a negative? You haven't left the house for 775 days.
I know. But now is the time when it's going to happen, because you're about to go on 25 different Christmas visits over 3 days. And
where are you being dragged to? Where's Christmas shaping up for you, Mike?
it's everywhere this year. It's a bit of everywhere. My dad's, my mum's. Well, actually, mum, we're going to have for dinner, but no, spend a bit more time with the wife's family this year. So we'll be out in the west, in the mighty west.
Yeah, Hoppers Way, out that way.
Hoppers, yep. Hoppers, Spotswood, and then my family's all still at East Keeler Way. The Clay Belt, as it's called.
We'll enjoy if you are playing golf anywhere around the country on Christmas Day or Boxing Day as a part of a tradition. Enjoy that, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the MLOG Golf Podcast. Maybe this year, maybe next year, but rest assured we'll be back, the three of us. See you then.